We've got another international game as Jacksonville flies to their home away from home in London to host the Los Angeles Rams. My name's Tyler here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this Week 7 matchup and provide our predictions at the end. So be sure to leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. We're about 300 subscribers away from 8,000. Let's see if we can get there this week. Any help is greatly appreciated. And Ryan, let's get into it here. So, the Rams had a good victory over the Baltimore Ravens. I know the Ravens are extremely banged up, but still, anytime you can go and win on the road in Baltimore, I still think that's a good win. In Jacksonville, coming off their great victory on Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs, weren't able to follow that up with a victory over the Seattle Seahawks, losing 20-12 in a good hard-fought battle. I think the Seattle Seahawks team is legit, and I think it's a good win traveling cross country as well too, and going to playing in Jacksonville in October where it's still hot and humid and guys might not be used to that. So this is going to be interesting, I think, for both of these teams. An international game, and the Rams are more than likely going to be out with Puka Nakua, who hurt his ankle in this game as well. So that's going to be something to monitor all week. I think he's going to try and give it a go, but at the same time, though, too, I've seen this with the Rams before and with Puka, where he might get a little banged up, and they need him healthy in the second half of the year. So wouldn't be surprised if he sits in this game. But that being said, though, still a lot of firepower, I think, here for Los Angeles, and it's going to be a great game. What are your thoughts on both of these two teams that are both 4-2? And what do you think both teams need to do to win this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a big matchup for record wise because I think both these teams are fighting to be in the division lead or
Hmm.
stay close with a division rival. So this is a big matchup there. The Jags I've been relatively impressed with. I know coming off that loss to Seattle, only a 13-point offensive performance, but I thought the defense did a decent job in that game, holding Seattle to just 20 points. Statistically, they don't have the greatest defense. They're about 23rd in total yards allowed. Rushing yards allowed, they're about 8th. But I think that overall, this team has definitely exceeded expectations for first year head coach. Trevor Lawrence has had a little bit of a suspect start to his career. I know he got the extension, but there was a lot of questions of whether he was really an elite quarterback there. And so I like this. What they've done, I've really been impressed with this offensive line for the Jags. I know this was their worst performance. I think they gave up 6 sacks. Um,
7.
7 sacks, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was their worst performance by far. But with all that being said, I still think that this offense gives them a chance to win in any game. The Rams, on the other hand, they're a top 10 offense, probably a top 5 offense actually, and then the top 10 defenses as well. And so when you combine those two together, that just forms a really complete team. Even outside of Puka Nakua, they still have Devontae Adams, Tutu Atwell, and a good running game led by Kyron Williams in this offensive line. So I think that this Rams team is very complete. They're going up against one of the better rushing defenses in the league, so maybe that puts a little bit more pressure on Matt Stafford and this team to throw the ball. But yeah, I think this is a good matchup against two really solid teams over here in London,
Yeah.
or
No,
over there
no,
in London, not here.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for Jacksonville, though, yeah, I think the 7 sacks to me is maybe a potential omen to kind of what this game could be.
Mhm.
I look at that Seattle front seven and this Rams front seven to be very similar. The front seven for the Rams is extremely explosive and a lot of guys that I think could cause a lot of fits for this Jacksonville offensive line. And even too as well, the Jags only rushed for 59 yards
Yeah.
against the Seattle Seahawks defense. And if I can figure out my mouse here, then I'll go back to this here. Then if you go to the Rams defense as well, that they're averaging just a little over 100 rushing yards per game. When it comes to that, but then when it comes to total sacks on the season, they're fourth overall with 19 sacks on
Yeah.
the season. And so I think that's where I think they can really get after the quarterback, really kind of disgruntle them. The X factor for me, though, when it comes to this matchup, I like the Seattle Seahawks secondary more than I do against the Rams secondary. And the Seattle Seahawks, they had some big explosive plays as well. But I think the Seahawks secondary was able to mitigate some of that. I don't know if the Rams will be able to do as well because we're starting to see
Yeah.
Brian Thomas come along a lot stronger. Travis Hunter's getting more involved, more comfortable, kind of with the new system as well too. So we're gonna have guys like Parker Washington, and you've had the running back room with Bashal Tootin, and then even Travis Etienne still in the backfield, guys that you have to worry about as well too. So that's where I think that's going to be a factor is can the secondary for the Rams also complement the pressure the front seven is going to bring, or
Yeah.
is Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence, are they going to dial up some plays where, hey, if we feel blitz is coming, this is the quick option here, and call an audible, get the ball out of the hands quickly, and slowly move the chains. Now on the flip side too as well, for the Rams, if they're without Puka, I still like you got Devontae Adams, still going to have Tutu Atwell. They got a really good young tight end room as well too, with a lot of emerging guys that are coming up. And so I still like a lot of these options. Blake Corum, he might not be available for this game also. He got a little banged up, but even too, you still got Kyron Williams. I think that's going to be a good matchup between the Rams offensive line and the Jags defensive line. And if the Rams are able to run the ball, I think it's going to be really tough for this Jags defense slow down this Rams offense. And so
Yeah.
when I look at this, it's very unique too, because especially with Puka not being in there. If Puka was in there, I just think it'd be too much for the Jags defense to prep for in an international game as well. But I think it's going to be closer. And I know I said, but I'm still going to go with the Rams here in this one. I just think they're just the slightly better team. I'm going to trust Sean McVay in his offensive game plan and his system. You're going to have Matt Stafford, who I think is a better quarterback. I think you're going to have just an overall better front seven go of the Rams go up against this Jags offense. And not taking anything away from the Jags defense, they have improved from last year. Kind of a low bar to beat, for being honest, but they still have improved. But I think the Rams are just. I think they're going to go in there and pull this one out and going to make for an extremely interesting NFC West competition as well too, as they're tied for the lead with the Seahawks and the Niners as well too. And let's not forget the Cardinals; they're 2-4, and I think they've of their 4 losses have been by a total of I think 10 points, 2 1 point loss games, and then I think a 3 point loss and a 4 point loss. So yeah, it's a 9 point. I'm pretty sure it's 9 points total in their 4 losses. So the Cardinals could easily be 6-0 as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, this NFC West division is loaded, and the Jags division I think is going to come down between the Jags and the Colts. Definitely not the Tennessee Titans, who just fired their coach.
Yeah. No, I'm also going to go with the Rams. I do just feel like the coaching and the overall talent is going to be a little too much to handle. And then I also feel like this defensive front for the Rams is probably going to be able to control this game fairly well. I think Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Byron Young, those guys going to have another solid game. We started to see some leaks in the ship there down in Jacksonville for that offensive line. And I'm curious if that's going to carry over, especially you're going against, like you said, the 4th best pass rushing team in the Rams, but then also like Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, one of the better pass rushing combos in the league as a whole. So I really like the opportunity here for the Rams to go 5-2 and kind of continue to stay competitive in that division.
Yep.
So let's go ahead. Let's wrap it up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Los Angeles Rams? Will it be the Jacksonville Jaguars? And then that we'll see you guys next time.